You remember when you was a kid and your parents used to whip your ass and they would tell you, this is going to hurt me more than it hurts you?
I am on the side of TikTok right now, where is the African Americans and the Africans beefing over, do we look African? We don't look African. We're not African. We're indigenous America. We're this, we're that. We don't like the Africans and no one eat African food. And I just have to, out of every single thing that black people should be having conversations about, out of every single thing that we should be fighting about, we're fighting over who looks like who and who doesn't look like what.
All right, young lady. I'm not going to give you all the smoke because you're apparently a child and I'm a whole grown man over here. But I will blow you a shotgun. Stop coming up with these fake reasons as to what's happening and why it's going on. Why is it every time one of y'all make a video about why there is a dispute going on, y'all come with these fake reasons? Y'all don't mention the preconceived notions that y'all come over here with that lead to the disrespect. That's what a lot of this is about. Y'all not talking about the African Union trying to muscle their way in on reparations. Y'all not talking about the hijacking of the Essence Fest. Y'all not talking about none of that. Y'all saying all of this is starting because they just don't want to get their hair braided by the Africans no more and all these other stupid reasons that y'all making up that where y'all leave no fault on your people. Y'all people have been coming over here being disrespectful, benefiting off of things we fought for a long time, and showing no solidarity or unity with us whatsoever. So all we said was we're delineating ourselves so that they can't get our benefits by claiming African American anymore. We don't want to be called African American anymore. We didn't want to be called African American in the first place.
Have you ever seen white Americans fight about whether they're European descent or not? So many white Americans will literally claim their European side. Oh, I'm Italian American, and they've never been to Italy in their fucking life. But African Americans, for some reason, want to be separated from Africans so much, even though they're African.
In December of 1988 is when they began calling us African Americans. We were never African Americans before that. Do y'all know what a reclassification is? How y'all doing so well in education that y'all don't know what a reclassification is? There were a lot of prominent black Americans who did not agree with that term African American when it came into existence in December of 1988. Do you know how old I was? I was a sophomore in high school. I had already lost my virginity and was smoking weed. Are you serious? By the time I became an African American. That means I spent all of my childhood not an African American. My mother spent her whole childhood and most of her adult life not an African American until 88. My grandmother wasn't an African American until she had about 10 grandchildren. Then she became an African American. Why is it that you all believe every slave ship left the coast of Africa and came straight to the United States of America? Why do y'all believe that that's how the transatlantic slave trade took place if y'all are doing so well in education? Y'all are exceeding us in education. You are surpassing us in education. But y'all act as though y'all don't know that those slave ships went to the Caribbean first. And they went to Brazil first. And we got the scraps that was left over. Why is it y'all don't realize that? Why is it that y'all think that you are the dominant species on this planet? Like, for those of us who do have ancestry that they believe traces back to the original people who were on this land when it was discovered by the Europeans. For those people who believe that, why must they hold their ancestors from Africa in higher regards than their ancestors from right here? What makes you so dominant out of everybody else that we have to adhere to you and claim your heritage if the people that were here in America were indeed also black? Michael Jackson had 9 solo #1 hits before we were African Americans. The entire Motown era was from before we were African Americans. When Eddie Murphy made Beverly Hills Cop, we were not African Americans. When Thurgood Marshall became the first black Supreme Court justice in 1967, we were not African Americans. When Charles Drew revolutionized blood plasma storage And when Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier in baseball, we were not African Americans. Do you have any idea how much history we have in this country before we ever heard the words African American? Rosa Parks never heard the term African American in her life. When the Atlanta child murders happened, we were not African Americans. When the Central Park jogger happened, we were not African Americans. I know this is random, but who do you think unalived each other more? The Bloods and the Crips, or the Hoodoos and the Tutsis? You so smart, you dumb. Education does not always equate to intelligence. You just do a good job of memorizing and repeating, but not thinking. Let me make a hypothetical little story out of it. Maybe you can understand it better that way, because y'all seem to have a hard time grasping the concept of exactly what a reclassification is. And I know certain words don't translate into your language in one word. Therefore, you don't have a concept of it. Words like maintenance. Y'all don't have a concept of that word because it does not translate into any of y'all languages in one word. So let me explain something to you all right? Say, for example, you always talk about the nations are doing so bad over there because the leadership is poor. Y'all have poor leadership, right? That's always the excuse. Say, for example, this is just hypothetical. You get a horrible leader in Nigeria. And this horrible leader, he's corrupt, right? He's real corrupt. He makes a deal with the Marvel company over there in Hollywood, the film company. They want to shoot all of their Black Panther movies over there. So he changes the name of Nigeria to Wakanda because they give him about $500 million or something. And he goes for it, right? And all the people were upset, but he signed the paper. So now people are calling y'all Wakandans. You know you're a Nigerian. You know you're not from no goddamn Wakanda. But on paper, it says you're Wakandans. Why? Because one of your corrupt leaders, which you all should be very familiar with, sold y'all out. So now you got people coming from other places, coming to your country, when you know good and damn well you are a Nigerian, and they're telling you you're Wakandan. How would you feel about that? Then look at the Wakandans. How would y'all feel? People telling you who you are. None of you over there know what was taking place over here in the 1500s. Y'all don't know anything about the tribes that were here and the wars that were fought here all through the 15, 16, 1700s. Y'all don't know about that. Y'all don't know anything about those people. So why is it that y'all are like so strong with this that we are African, we belong to y'all? But y'all are surpassing us in education. We have more Black American millionaires that don't have a college degree than the whole entire continent of Africa has millionaires, period. We have close to 250,000 Black American millionaires that don't have education, and they're millionaires. And on your entire continent, 54 countries, you have 138,000 millionaires. If education was so important, and you were really surpassing us in the way you thought you were, why y'all can't make money like us? Because one thing that they can't teach you is talent. It's the difference between talent and education. You see this guy, Jesse Jackson. He is the corrupt leader who changed our name to Wakandans or African American or whatever you want to call it. But that is not our name. We were not that before you were born.
And now they're saying we're not African Americans, we're Black Americans. You were slaves. What?
How do you see African Americans? I see y'all as slaves.
You talking about a prostitute bitch? You got some motherfucking booties with some with some tap dance shoes.
Slave. You are a slave. Get the out of my place. You are a slave. Look at you, a dog.
They really want you to believe it's an isolated incident and not a culture. I don't let them gaslight me. I don't let them scam me. When I put that video out about the girl who got rejected on a dating show and began to refer to soul food as slave food and how she was never a slave. I had people trying to justify it in my comments as if it were an isolated incident and not a way of thinking amongst a certain people. It's not an isolated incident. It's a state of mind. And I'm not going to stop until it's destroyed.